Most families think college is hard because of the test scores. But the real shock comes later. It comes when a school sends a price that looks huge, then a second number that is smaller, and then a third number that still makes your stomach drop. That is the trap Ron Lieber pulls apart in this book. Because college is not just a place to learn, it is also one of the biggest money choices a family will ever make. And many people walk into it blind. They look at the name on the letter, they hear the praise, they feel the pressure. Then they pay more than they planned, or borrow more than they should. What I like about this book is that it slows all of that down. It asks a simple question that can save families a lot of pain. What are you actually paying for, and is it worth it? The first thing this book helps you see is that college pricing is not clear on purpose. Schools post a sticker price, but that is not always the real price. The real number is the net price, which is what you pay after grants and aid. And that gap can be huge. This is where a lot of families get confused. A school can look expensive on paper, then end up cheaper than another one after aid is added. But you do not know that unless you look past the first number. That is why this part matters so much. Most people do not make bad college choices because they are careless. They make them because the system is built to be hard to read. And once your child gets excited about a school, it becomes even harder to think clearly. The book helps you pause before emotion takes over.
This is the part that feels very human. People do not just buy a college education. They also buy pride, hope, and the feeling that their child made it somewhere impressive. And that is where prestige can cloud good judgment. Ron Lieber does not say ambition is bad. He is saying status can become expensive very fast. A fancy name can feel like safety. It can feel like proof. It can feel like the right answer. But those feelings are not the same as value. What stood out to me here is how quietly this happens. No one usually says, "I am choosing this school for ego." It shows up in fear. It shows up in guilt. It shows up in the need to keep up. And when that happens, families can pay more than they should just to avoid regret. The book gently reminds you that a school is not a trophy. It is a tool.
The deepest lesson in this book is not never pay for college. It is this: do not let fear, pride, or pressure make the decision for you. College should be a good investment in learning and opportunity, not a race for status, not a blind gamble, not a debt story that lasts for decades. And that is why this book feels so useful. It gives families a way to think more clearly. Look past the sticker price. Separate free money from borrowed money. Compare real value, not just reputation. And talk honestly as a family before the numbers get too big. That is the kind of advice that sounds simple, but can change everything. Because once you see college as a major purchase, you start asking better questions. And better questions lead to better choices. If you want more book ideas made simple, subscribe to the 5-Minute Shelf. Practical and direct, guiding families through aid letters. This is one of the most practical parts of the book. Financial aid letters can look generous while still leaving families with a heavy bill. That is because not all aid is the same. Grants and scholarships are free money. Loans are borrowed money. Work study is money you may earn later, not cash in hand right now. So two offers can look similar and still be very different. One may leave you with less debt. Another may just hide the pain in small print. That is why families need to slow down and read every line. Do not stop at the big, bold number. Look at what you truly owe. This is where the book becomes real. A lot of stress around college comes from people not knowing what they signed up for until it is too late. Lieber's message is simple. Read the offer like a buyer, not like a dreamer. The book also gives families a more active role. Do not treat the first offer like the final word. Compare schools. Ask questions. Use other offers when you can. And if something does not make sense, ask for a clearer answer. This is not about being difficult. It is about being informed. What I have noticed is that many people feel they should not question college pricing. But colleges are making a business choice too, so families can think like smart customers. That does not mean every school will change its offer. It does mean you should not stay silent and hope for the best. A calm, clear question can save real money. And even when the answer does not improve, you at least know what you are choosing. That kind of clarity matters. It lowers regret later, which is worth a lot in a decision this big. The deepest lesson in this book is not never pay for college. It is this: do not let fear, pride, or pressure make the decision for you. College should be a good investment in learning and opportunity, not a race for status, not a blind gamble, not a debt story that lasts for decades. And that is why this book feels so useful. It gives families a way to think more clearly. Look past the sticker price. Separate free money from borrowed money. Compare real value, not just reputation. And talk honestly as a family before the numbers get too big. That is the kind of advice that sounds simple, but can change everything. Because once you see college as a major purchase, you start asking better questions. And better questions lead to better choices. If you want more book ideas made simple, subscribe to the 5-Minute Shelf.